Voice of Gowanus is a grassroots coalition of community organizations and concerned citizens that have banded together to make sure that the community's voice is heard about the significant health and safety issues, environmental concerns, equity and social justice concerns around the proposed Gowanus rezoning. Our group has been fighting to make sure that our public officials hear our concerns and factor them in, but unfortunately, the Department of City Planning and Mayor de Blasio has refused to engage in the significant problems with the proposed Gowanus rezoning. And on January 19th, just next week, they intend to certify this massive rezoning proposal that's more than 2 times the size of Hudson Yards, more than 2 times the size of Atlantic Yards, and blanket the Gowanus neighborhood with more than 15 luxury apartment towers. We are gathered here today because as a community, we must have community voices in land use policy. We refuse to be blocked out of this process, and we refuse to allow Mayor de Blasio and the Department of City Planning to use the COVID-19 crisis, the economic crisis that the city is facing, to push through this massive rezoning without us being heard. And so today, we are proud to announce that Voice of Gowanus has lawyered up. Yeah! And we intend to fight this proposal tooth and nail to make sure that the very serious health and safety concerns, the economic and social justice concerns that we have are heard, and that the city cannot move forward with this immensely misguided plan. I'd like to invite Brad to come up and speak about this.
Thank you, Jack. As Jack mentioned, Voice of Gowanus has retained legal counsel, and we will be using all available options to challenge the Gowanus rezoning. We've retained attorney Jason Zakai of the law firm Hiller PC, who will be representing us. And as Mr. Zakai noted in the press release that I can hand out to you, there are serious problems both with the massive rezoning proposal itself and with the lack of transparency concerning the proposal, and we are looking into all legal options on behalf of our client, Zakai said. Rather than move forward with such a problematic plan, the city should go back to the drawing board and shelve it for another day. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on the Hiller firm. Hiller PC recently secured a court ruling which overturned a city agency determination based upon the city's failure to provide a public hearing and afford due process to members of the community. And also during the COVID-19 crisis, as you may have heard, Hiller PC obtained a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction against the city on behalf of homeless residents who are about to be forcibly relocated out of the Lucerne Shelter Hotel on the Upper West Side. Right. So we are very proud and very glad to have legal counsel on our side to represent the community's many, many concerns about the proposed Gowanus rezoning.
All right.
And at this time, I'd like to bring up Ken Rodin, who is part of our legal committee. And after him, we have another special guest that you will hear about very shortly.
Thanks, Brad. As a longtime practicing trial lawyer in another state and still practicing there, but living here, I can tell very quickly what the quality of a lawyer is when we actually get down to talking about cases. And I am very, very favorably impressed with Jason Zakai, his grasp of this. We're in really, really good legal hands, and I'm very pleased to say that. Now, I also have a question. Given that the basic proposition down at Public Place is that it's affordable housing on the most polluted land in the state of New York, the most dangerous land, given that that's what it is, it's a strange thing for people who claim to be advocates of people in need of affordable housing to say, well, come to this neighborhood. Here's your house on the most poisoned land in all of New York.
Right.
So I have this question. Aren't you sick and tired of being embarrassed by public officials a lot of us voted for?
Yeah.
I sure am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call up somebody who has joined us today who knows all about lawyering up, even if you have to do it yourself. So I'd like to call up Alicia Boyd.
Hello, my name is Alicia Boyd. I represent MTOP, the Movement to Protect the People, and FLAC, Flower Lovers Against Corruption. We are a local organization in the Crown Heights, Flatbush area, and we're very familiar with the zoning process and the way that the city comes in and tells you that they're going to increase the probability of development to provide affordable housing. We know that affordable housing, the MIH program, has absolutely failed in communities of color, and now they're coming into white, upper middle class communities running the same rhetoric. But really, this is just a Trojan horse. These are Trojan horses in which the community's voices are left out of the process, and developers get the right to just build whatever they want as high as they want.
That ain't right.
And, you know, I'm very happy and pleased that the Gowanus community has band together and has raised the funds to be able to fight this fight, because this is what happens. We have to fight it in the courts because our elected officials no longer are representing us. They're representing big state real estate. In our case up in Crown Heights and Flatbush, we're not as wealthy. We're a low to moderate income community. And in those communities, they do the same thing. But we were able to, with our wits and our guts and our determination, we were able to file a lawsuit in the Brooklyn Supreme Court. We were able to overturn a recent rezoning project that was doing the same thing. And now, and we got the mayor to back out on the new one because we had filed another lawsuit. And so what the city does not like, they don't like lawsuits. They spend a lot of money and a lot of times they lose. And so I am really pleased the fact that the Gowanus is taking this up and really fighting for the community. And I just wanted to say one other thing. There's a new bill coming out that will now create a master plan that the city will create for the communities, and the local council person at the end of the day will have no say in this. This is outrageous. This is the purpose of the land use review process, is so that we can have a say. But we don't even have that particular process working, and now they're about to create a new process that would be even worse. So I just want the city to be aware that a lot of communities are going to be lowering up, not just in the Gowanus rezoning, but in the entire city, because the way in which you want to create land use is not the way that we, the community, wants to see land use created. Thank you.
Yeah!
Thank you so much, Alicia. And I should point out that both Voice of Gowanus and Alicia and her group are part, and many other groups, friends and residents of Greater Gowanus, for example, here in the area. Many groups around the city, though, are part of a citywide coalition that has been banding together for the last 6 months to call out abuses of the city's ULURP process. So we are not alone, and we're so thankful to all of our allies around the city on this point. If you out there want to get involved and help us with this legal fight, you can donate. All you have to do is Google Gowanus Legal Defense Fund, and it'll come up. But that's where you can make a donation that will help fuel and continue this legal fight. And check out voiceofgowanus.org as well. It's another website that will give you the facts and the background on the many concerns about this Gowanus rezoning. Now, I'd like to call up another person, because not only have we retained legal counsel, we have retained the services of someone else that's very important in a fight like this that involves environmental concerns in our neighborhood. So I'd like to bring back Jack Riccobono to tell you about that person.
Thank you. Yeah, in addition to Jason Zakai and Hiller PC, we have also retained environmental review process expert Maureen Katz, who will be examining the many environmental issues plaguing Gowanus. As many people know, the Gowanus Canal was designated a Superfund site thanks to the very hard community work of many of the organizations in our coalition and with us here today. And that was something that was opposed by Mayor Bill de Blasio and our council member Brad Lander at its onset. They did not want the Superfund designation, and they did not want to clean up one of the most polluted waterways in the entire country. But we have that designation, and just within the last month, dredging has finally begun to clean up the canal. But that dredging will continue for another 10 years at least. So the idea that public officials are putting out there, including Mayor Bill de Blasio, that Gowanus is somehow cleaned up already is a lie. And the public place site that Penn brought up, where Brad Lander and Councilman and Mayor de Blasio are intending to put forward an affordable housing complex, is one of the most polluted sites in New York State. It used to be a manufactured gas plant, and it has carcinogenic coal tar running more than 100 feet down into the soil. Just on December 1st, the EPA's lead engineer in public comments affirmed the community's concerns that the cleanup at Public Place is not sufficient. The toxins in the soil will volatilize and rise up over time and put potential residents on that site in danger. It is not a site where housing should be placed. Maureen Katz will be examining that issue and the also tremendous issues with raw sewage and CSOs in the canal. Right now, New York City continues to be one of the largest, or is the largest polluter of the Gowanus Canal, annually dumping more than 300 million gallons of raw sewage and CSOs into the canal. This pollution must stop. Clean it up before you zone it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The practicing lawyer among us has also talked to our environmental lawyer, and I can say she's totally kick-ass.
And finally, I'd like to bring up someone that you may well know if you know anything about Gowanus. Someone who has been at this work of civic engagement for the good for a long time, Katya Kelly.
Yeah.
Hi there, my name is Katya Kelly. I've been fighting along with many people here for a clean Gowanus Canal for the last 13, 14 years. We had to fight then Mayor Bloomberg because he didn't want the EPA to declare it a Superfund, saying that the city could clean it up quicker and better. We fought our then councilman, Bill de Blasio, who is now our mayor, because he already had taken money from developers to build gleaming glass buildings along the Gowanus Canal. A community can fight for better plan. Here in Gowanus, it's not about rezoning, it's about the environment. This is a FEMA flood zone A that flooded quite a bit during all the way to Bond Street, the next street over, and far beyond in other areas during Hurricane Sandy. As was mentioned before, the EPA started dredging in November. They're dredging up what they call black mayonnaise, really toxic material from the bottom of the Gowanus Canal. What you see is just the beginning. It's going to take 10 years to do this work. And on top of it, as was mentioned, a lot of the uplands, the sites on either side of the Gowanus Canal remain very polluted. The state gives developers a lot of money through the brownfield remediation program to clean those sites up. We've seen those cleanups. They are cover-ups. They are not cleanups. They leave lots of pollution in the ground. An example, as mentioned before, is Public Place, where coal tar goes down to 153 feet, and they're basically just scratching the surface, and that's where our councilman, Brad Lander, wants to put 950 affordable housing units. This is about the environment. This is about cleaning up first and seeing what we can build here after a thorough cleanup, not before. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Katya. This concludes our press event for today, but I just want to say once again, on behalf of all of us from Voice of Gowanus and from the Gowanus community and our many allies around the city, we are very proud to have lawyered up in the Gowanus rezoning on behalf of our community. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a couple of questions, and I'm not sure who the right person is to ask them, but
You know, the rezoning start, or the certification is January 19th. Do you anticipate any legal action before then? And the second question is, can you tell a little bit more about, you know, what legal angle you guys have here?
Sure. Well, I have to disappoint you and say our legal strategy will be revealed in due course.